So the question is the hype that Colorado once had where everybody and their mama and their grandmother and sisters were tuning in to watch the Colorado Buffs, is that hype gone? See, there's two things to think about here. Give me your ears if you can, and let me give you a little bit of an analysis because I think there's something to think about here because I've actually covered this a couple of times on the channel about the hype. I think in the beginning I said, look, this hype is going to die down once the Louis boys leave. We got to consider when the hype goes, does the football get better? So let's talk about that in a little bit.
BWB, bandwagon Buffs.
That's right. It's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. All right, family, I got to go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Deion Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes face grim reality after 1.4 million viewers tune in to sportingnews.com. 1.4 million viewers tune in to watch the Colorado Buffaloes defeat the Iowa State Cyclones 24-17 on Saturday, as well as the fans storming the field at Folsom Field on a rare occasion where the program wasn't fined for it. I think they said it's like either $50,000 or $60,000. Somebody correct me in the comments, but I think it's like either $45,000 or $50,000. I forget the number they said, but somewhere in that. For reference, that was one of the least viewed games of Deion Sanders' tenure in Boulder since taking over the program ahead of the 2023 season. Still, top 8 for the week, but the Iowa State game was one of the least viewed Colorado games in the Coach Prime era. It's bottom 3 for reported viewers, with 3 others that were Pac-12 network games and were never reported numbers. Buffs own Brian Howard relayed. It didn't help that the Buffs came into the Cyclones game with a 2-4 record. It also didn't help that the Red River rivalry game between Arch Manning, Texas Longhorns, and an undefeated Oklahoma Sooners squad returning John Mateer from injury, plus a matchup between 2 of the top-ranked teams in the country, the Indiana Hoosiers and Oregon Ducks, were on the same time. Like, if you really paid attention to Saturday, yeah, it was TV madness. It was like, yo, pick your poison because there was a lot of games going on at the same time. Just to put it in perspective, that's top 8. So Coach Prime still got some pull. He's still drawing a lot of attention. But one thing I want to highlight is that the football is surprisingly a little different, right? Because if you think about the Georgia Tech game, we take the very first game of the season. Colorado had a chance to win that game. And Colorado's schedule is not necessarily going to get that much harder because the Big 12 is pretty even conference. And Colorado is actually handling its own in the Big 12. When Coach Prime says a better team overall, it's starting to look like that, even though the W's are not piling up. But when you look and you watch the actual games that are happening, you can actually see there's good play on both sides of the ball. Now, we might want to try to get on the defense and say, hey, man, the defense is playing terribly this year. If you think about it, the games that Colorado has lost this year are pretty much one-score games. Georgia Tech, 7 points. Next, 3 points. So it's like you look around and you're like, wait, hold on. If you are a football fan, and you are somebody who actually looks at the game, very critically, you might come away with different perspective than the perspective that is out there. Because from a laissez-faire fan or just kind of like a, fair weather fan who comes every now and then just to find out what's going on with Prime because you've either lost interest or you're still a little bit interested because of the Louis boys and what's going on in the NFL, then you might say, well, they're not winning. But for those of us who follow this thing on a daily basis, we look at it from a different perspective. Colorado has a good team. Colorado can actually put together a few wins and save the season because there's still time. They're not that far off. There are good teams with 2 losses, and Colorado is still in the mix. They're just going to have to find a way to close out this season, just like Kansas that plays late. they start off the season losing, and people kind of count them out. Then next thing you know, they string together a few wins, and then they're right there in the mix of the conversation. And the Big 12, like I said, is wide open. So Colorado still has a chance, but when it comes to the viewership and the hype, is the hype dead? The hype is not totally dead, but the hype has waned a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because people are still watching Colorado football, even though Shedeur, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, and all of those guys are not there anymore. People are still checking for Prime and his Colorado Buffaloes. If you look around, you still see Colorado content still leading the charge, but I don't know that college football as a whole, from a content perspective, let's just take YouTube as the litmus, right? Because people do listen to podcasts. We don't really count podcasts when it comes to like YouTube and whatnot, because the numbers are still favoring Colorado as far as content creation is concerned. And if you look at the views are still looking like Colorado is still garnering a lot more views from a YouTube video perspective than a lot of the other content creators that follow other teams. But yeah, Colorado can definitely make a bowl game. I mean, they're right there. They can actually save the season, make a bowl game, and then try to regroup for next year. I guess the good thing about Colorado is the fact that they actually have young people on the team. Like we've said the last couple of years, this is not a U-Haul team. It's not a rental team much, right? Because now they have much younger people that are on the team, and they can actually string together a few wins and then bring back some of those guys. Jordan Seaton, I believe, will be a junior. The team is pretty much made up of young people. They can bring back a lot more of those young people, get some more high school guys and start grooming them, bring up the next group of guys that are coming up. And Colorado can actually compete in this Big 12. For some odd reason, we can't pinpoint exactly where the mistakes are coming from or where exactly they're lacking to put it all together. We often tease Coach Prime, Coach Prime not being able to call timeout and yada, 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 but I can't necessarily blame the entire thing on the coaching staff, because the players are the ones that have to get on that field and play the game. So I'm sure they're being prepared, because when they get out there, they actually hold their own in the first half. So some way, somehow, the players have to figure out, the entire team, the coaching staff and the players, because if the players give you a good first half, I believe everybody got to go into that locker room, dig deep down in their arsenal, in their heart, figure out a way to close out the game. If they can do that, Colorado can finish strong, and then their 2026 campaign is going to look a lot brighter, because then more people are going to want to come. But the football is getting better and is getting more respect. You don't see the clown emojis as much anymore, even though it's still there. So the football is getting better. People coming to Folsom Field, when they have to give respect to Colorado, they have to respect the fact that there is actual football at Folsom Field now, because you're not just going to come in here and just blow them out. You're going to have to strap them up, and you're going to have to play. So that's the thing that about Colorado that I see. And I prescribed this, or I actually said, look, I'm hoping that the noise dies down. But however, when the noise dies down, I hope that the football product gets better. And I believe that that's actually happening. The football product is getting a lot better. As far as Coach Prime is concerned, his health issues, we don't know how much of his health is going to play a part, or is actually playing a part in the team's lack of chemistry, some of the mistakes that they're making. I don't know how much of his health is in that, but it has to be playing a part in that. That's why we can't really be that hard on Coach Prime, because of his health issues. We got to make sure that we are dividing this thing, or at least criticizing it in the right way. We're not just casting blame on Prime, because, Prime got a lot of things going on. So just looking at it in its totality, I think Colorado's in a good place. If they can string together a few more wins, I think they're going to earn a lot of respect from the conference, and the hype can, I think, grow a little bit more, because some of those stars are going to step up. Cam is going to step up. Jordan Seaton is stepping up. There's a few guys out there that are going to have to step up, and they're becoming stars in their own right. So before you know it, you might have your Travis Hunter type of star there. You might have your Shedeur there again. So if Juju steps in there and he does a good job, you might start getting people to start paying attention again, because with Prime, you can never count him out. And there's always something happening with Prime. So you got to keep your eyes and your ears to these Colorado streets. But TLP, me, Harry B, your mans, we're going to keep bringing the information as much as we can. You cannot necessarily blame Colorado for this 1.4 million, slip, because there was a lot of football being played. And I'm talking about high quality football being played all around the league. So I just wanted to drop that information for y'all. If you like that information and information like this, guys, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. I'm Harry B. The B means billion. Brah.